very good morning to all. Welcome everybody to the session. I hope all of you can see and hear me clearly. Things are all fine. I hope video and audio things should be fine. Right. So we meet again for another session. And if you notice, in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, for the last around 10, 15 days, we have been focusing on the skill of remembering or understanding the structure of the passage. It's not about memorizing, as I've told you again, it's about understanding, okay, what is the flow of the ideas that the author wants to present. If I do that, it becomes very easy for me to answer the questions, right? And there's nothing like a rule, there's nothing like a hard and fast rocket science for that. What is simply required is nothing else but to keep track of the ideas. It will come with practice, and we have been doing that for the last so many years. Today also we will continue with that, with this principle, right? With this particular thought in mind, and also we will also try to answer questions. So the passage which I have taken the for analysis today is basically a cat passage. It's an actual question from cat, right? So, and before we begin, I hope all of you know about the actual the schedule, the YouTube schedule on BYJU'S Exam Prep channel, right? You will know that if you know this already, that there are many classes, there are many sessions lined up every day of the week, and it's like all of them will be designed to keep in to help you prepare for the various exams, right? So moving on to the passage, this is the passage, and it's in the form of a question. It's taken directly from CAT, right? So read the first slide. It will take you some time for you to read. I'll give you time. People are slowly joining in also, right? And there will be words which you may not know. I have not highlighted the words, right? But then you can discuss it. And by the way, when I discuss the passage, I will also focus on the words which you do not know, right? So 30 seconds to read this. Let's see. Hope everybody is reading it. So very good morning, everybody. Once again, very good morning. Let's see. Everybody is reading it, I hope. Let's see. Is it visible, properly visible? Probably the last line is charged. Probably my image is superimposed on the slide, right? So I'll tell you, emotionally charged. The last line is nothing else but emotionally charged. सिद्धार्थ, yes, this is cat paper. आदित्य कुमार, subtlety का मतलब होता है, subtlety basically means uh, something which is very nuanced, right? Something which is not very apparent, जो बहुत apparent नहीं है. Subtle means something which is done in a slightly hidden, in a slightly covered manner, not very apparent. Right. So subtle hints, for example, you say, right? So what do you mean by subtle hints? By subtle hints, we basically mean, hints which are not very direct, indirect in a way, right? Okay, Aniket, is it effective or effective? It is effective, effective, right? It is connected to the word affection, which basically means, some kind of love, attraction, right? So it cannot be effective. इफेक्टिव नहीं होगा प्रश्न, बिकॉज अगर इफेक्टिव होता तो the meaning will not come, right? So it is something which is derived from the word affection. ठीक है, affection मतलब love. So he's telling you the relation, the relation of liking between people and place. ठीक है, everybody got the point, I hope. Right. So you can see straight away what is the topic about. The topic is about topophilia. What is topophilia? Topophilia, you do not need to go looking for a dictionary. You do not need to know, go clamoring for a dictionary. What we find here is it's very clearly defined. It's the bond between people and places, and it is like the relation that people develop. Right? So all clear, I hope. Okay. Aniket, are you referring to the sound in the background that is like, Aniket is saying some problem is the video, is the audio fine? There is no problem if you are referring to the if you are referring to the background noise, there are monkeys outside, so that could be the reason. Otherwise, can everybody quickly confirm if you can hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Everybody working fine? Is it fine, everybody? Okay, now it is fine. Okay, right. Things are fine, I hope. Right. So, Nagarjun, that is the fan, right? This the fan is on in the room, right? So that fan is something without which it would be very difficult to sit in the in this room with the heat and all, with the lights and all. Anyway, Aniket, affection is not derived from affect. Same origin but different meanings. Okay, because the word affection is same origin as affect, but affect has many meanings, right? Affect का एक मतलब होता है something that you pretend also. That is something that is it can also, it has many meanings. That is why. ठीक है, everybody is clear, right? So, what is this topophilia? Topophilia is basically about nothing else but the relation, the feelings, the emotion that people feel for the place. Okay, right. Now, so, and if you notice, he says there are many factors influencing the response of the environment, cultural, gender, and historical. And he argued that there's a biological, there are many things which influence this bond. So, it may not be the strongest, right? Indeed, many people, so that means many people feel indifferent to it. It may not be the strongest bond, but when activated, it has the power to elevate a place to become the carrier of emotionally recharged events. In short, is telling you that it can be a very powerful emotion. Right. What is the emotion? The affinity, the connection that a person feels with the place. Sometimes some people may feel it, some people may not feel it, and the response or this emotion, it can change according to different factors. But if it is activated, right, it can become a very strong emotion. Okay, all clear so far? Shall we change the slide, everybody? Shall we change the slide? All clear, I think. Everybody is ready? Okay, so I'm changing the slide. This is the second slide. Let's see. Right now, in this paragraph, what you will notice is the author is telling you the different ways or the different methods, different ways in which people respond to the environment. They're responding to the environment is nothing else but topophilia, how people connect with the place in which they live or the place which they are associated with. So the first is aesthetic appreciation. So this is aesthetic appreciation as in beauty. For example, beautiful, a brilliantly colored rainbow after a gloomy afternoon. Okay, right? So this is an example of how beauty, right? So this is basically the beauty affecting your relationship with a certain place, right? And if you have read it, you will also understand the second bond, the second relationship is basically what it is, an acquired taste, right? It is like one, the immediate response, the one response is basically what is because of beauty. Second is because you feel familiar with it, acquired taste for certain landscapes and places that one knows well. So when a place is home or when a space has become the locus of memories. What do you mean by locus, Vaishnavi? Nature's beauty, but this nature's beauty is described to explain the connection that people have with places. So he's saying one of the reasons for the connection that people have with places could be beauty, right? Not just nature. It could be beauty of that place, and it could be even a. It's not just natural beauty. It could be because of the beauty of the city in which they live. Right. The second reason for the for the affinity or for the attraction or the emotion that people might feel with places is what? Having a close association. You become used to it. ठीक है. What do you mean by locus of locus क्या होता है? Locus means focal point where many lines, many points come and meet. ये quant पे नहीं होता. Locus, loci, meaning where many things or many points come and meet, many lines come and meet. That is called locus. That point is called locus. ठीक है. Now, so what is the first response? First reason for topophilia is beauty. Second is what? Is because of you, because you're getting used to that place, right? And the third response, what is it? The third response is not it. It is also related to human senses, but there it is not what you see. Tactile is basically what you feel, and olfactory is what you smell. So in short, out of the three reasons, two are connected to your senses. One is what you see, and the others related to other senses like smell or touch, right? And one more reason for people's liking for a place is people get used to it. So there are three things. Okay, everybody is clear. So there are three reasons why people may be attracted to a certain place. Vaishnavi and Mahima, I just explained. Tactile means touch. The sense of touch is called tactile. Olfactory is smell, sense of smell. So it is even explained, namely a delight in the feel and smell. Right. Tactile is feel and olfactory is smell. Okay, so he's telling you what is it doing in this slide? He's telling you the various, he's telling you the various reasons, the various, what they call, the three reasons because of which human beings feel attracted to the reasons why human beings feel attracted to places. Two of them are connected with senses. One is what you see, beautiful, right? And what you feel and what you smell. And another reason is basically you get used to it. Everybody is clear, right? देखो, वैष्णवी, ओके, आदित्य, predicated का मतलब क्या होता है? Predicated when a place is home or when a space has become the foci, right? Or focus, locus of memories. It frequently evokes a deeper set of attachments than those. Predicated means dependent. ठीक है? So he is telling you that the second reason, the second way of affecting or relating with a place, right? It is deeper than what you simply see. Predicated means dependent on. Okay, right? Okay. Shall we look at the next slide? I hope everybody has read it. So far, what is the structure? He is telling you about the relation or the feeling, the emotion that people might feel with the places which they live in. And there are three reasons for it. One is visual, you like visual appreciation, beauty of the place in which you live, right? The second reason is you get used to it, and this is probably a little bit deeper than simply visual, right? And the third is also connected to senses, but this time it is not visual, it is liking what you smell or even liking what you can touch. Okay, so this is the second slide. Third slide, let's see. Right, this paragraph will be a little bit difficult to understand. Let's see. I'll explain it, don't worry. Right. So here in this paragraph, he is just read it for 30 seconds, then we will discuss. Right. Ashwini, what is topophilia? Topophilia is the whole point जिसके बारे में हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. Topophilia क्या है? We have read two slides on this. Topophilia is the philia is love for the place in which you live. Right. अभी तक तो this is what the topic has been so far. The connection, the attraction, the love for the place in which you live. Okay, so what is he saying in this paragraph? He is telling you that, okay, topophilia has inspired architects, right? In what way? What is this new urbanism? New urbanism, urbanism is nothing else but the philosophy or the practice of having big cities and towns. Okay. Now, what is it telling you, Krishnakant? Perceive the placelessness. Do not simply ask that meaning. I'll explain the whole sentence. Dekho. New urbanism, meaning people who believe in big cities and towns, right? They try to counter the perceived placelessness of modern suburbs. New cities, modern suburbs, right? People cannot connect to it easily, right? So that feeling is called perceived placelessness. You cannot connect with it because the buildings, it's it's like emotionally buildings के साथ connect करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. So urbanism tries to change this, right? By what do they do, right? They try to do it through neo-traditional design motives. Motive is a repetitive uh, theme that comes across in art. ठीक है, right? So Krishnakant, okay, I have already done the question. Possibly I have done this question somewhere. Very possible in the class, right? So it's possible in some of the batches. Anyway, this is a cat question anyway. Okay, let's see. Now, so what is it doing here in this paragraph? He's telling you that there is a problem. Modern cities and modern towns, people cannot connect with the buildings. So architects try to change this process. How? They try to change this process by using the concept of topophilia. In short, they try to make buildings which people will fall in love with. But the author says their attempts are a failure. Kaise? Because they are motivated by good intentions, right? But they are bound to disappoint, meaning they are not always successful. So responses are often suddenly revealed. Matlab, it is this the responses or the connection that people have with places, right? It cannot be artificially created like this. Okay, that is why he says topophilia is difficult to design for and impossible to quantify, and its most articulate interpreters have been self-reflective philosophers evoking a marvelous intricate sense of place, right? So that relation, that the impact that environment has on people is something which is a very, it's a very complex thing. It cannot be created artificially like this. ठीक है, all clear, right? Ashwini Kumar, elusive means something which is difficult to capture, something which is difficult to capture also, ठीक है, all clear, right? This is the last slide. Next slide. Himanshu, I have done this probably, हाँ हो सकता है I have done this question in the class also, right? Because this is a cat question, और जो class है उसमें generally we pick, you know, cat questions only. Mahima, quantify basically means to measure in terms of quantity. Last slide is this, read this, then we can discuss. In this slide, what is he doing? He is telling you about something else. Topophilia is a positive relationship, right? But then it can be also used to explore darker affiliations. Affiliation means connections, right? Bonds, the bondings. Okay, then he's giving you examples. So topophilia is like people's liking for a place, people's bond with the place. Okay, he has given you different aspects of it. Now he's telling you that sometimes it can be misused also. How is it misused? Ashwini Kumar, connote nahi, connote. Connote means to have an implied meaning. So topophilia connotes a positive relationship, meaning the implied relationship of topophilia is that it's a positive relationship. ठीक है, right? All clear, I hope. What is the second? If you read the second slide, second sentence, you'll understand it quite clearly. Patriotism, literally meaning the love of one's terra, patria, or homeland. So he's telling you an example of how patriotism, which is a kind of topophilia, it is misused by governing elites, मतलब the higher class who rule, ठीक है? So it is patriotism, though it is a positive thing, it is misused by the government. In short, it is misused by governing parties, the ruling parties, the ruling people, right? And they use it for preparing for war and ethnic cleansing. What is ethnic cleansing? Ethnic cleansing is when you kill everybody belonging to one particular race, ठीक है, right? So this is a very negative example, right? So then he tells you another negative example: upscale residential developments. Upscale matlab high class residential, high class societies, right? As in where people of the high class only live. Let's say there's a township where only high income or high class people live. What they do, it is important to maintain their community's identity by casting themselves in a superior social position or by reinforcing caste and racial differences. In short, people who live in some townships which are superior to others, they have to maintain a distinct identity by showing themselves as socially, racially superior. So this is also a negative use of, topophilia. ठीक है, right? Let's see. Then in the last sentence, what does he tell you? And just as a beloved landscape is suddenly revealed, so too he is telling you topophilia sometimes is positive, is a positive thing. It is misused, but he also tells you that sometimes you can have another feeling called topophobia. What is topophobia? Topophobia is when you connect a certain place with dread or anxiety. Right. What is dread? Dread means fear. Right. So that is the opposite of topophilia. ठीक है, all clear everybody? Shall we look at the questions? Aniket, suddenly revealed मतलब spontaneous. Suddenly revealed का मतलब spontaneous, it happens all of a sudden without any planning. So he's telling you टोपोफिलिया सडनली होता है ना, मतलब इट्स नॉट प्लान्ड, ऐसे प्लान करके नहीं कर सकते, राइट? सो जैसे टोपोफिलिया होता है उसी तरह देयर इज द फीलिंग ऑफ टोपोफोबिया वेयर you start feeling afraid, you start feeling anxiety of a particular place. ठीक है, all clear I hope. Yes. Chalo, let's try the next question. Let's try. There are 5 questions in this passage. Let's see. The word topophobia in the passage is used to. So, what does topophobia stand for? Topophobia we used this just last abhi 2 minute pehle. So I'm not going to show you the passage. Topophobia is the opposite of topophilia. Everybody should be able to get this answer. This is very easy. Everybody. Topophobia, abhi abhi 2 seconds pehle we just did it. It is the opposite of topophilia. Topophilia is when people feel love, affection, or connection with the place. Topophobia is the opposite of that. When people, so Himanshu, Aniket, answer is saying Siddharth answer is why not? Okay, what is the problem with D? Everybody saying answer is A. What is the problem with D? I understand, right? I understand it's a so B तो बिल्कुल related नहीं है. What about C? To signify the fear of studying the complex discipline of topography. Study of topography. What is topography? Topography is how is the land like? Is it mountainous? Are there rivers? Right? Is it hilly? So is it a valley? So that is basically topography. So ये तो eliminate हो गया. What is the problem with D? So at least one of you, right? Now, yes, Aniket, correct. So the problem is topophilic people. Yes. So the fear is not for people. The fear is for the place, right? So the best answer is A. This is an easier question. I think everybody is able to understand this. Not difficult, I hope. Yes. Chalo, let's try the next question. Even the next question, this is related to a specific point which we just read. In the exam, you will have the option of referring to that part again, but here I will not give you that option because we just did it right now. Okay, right. And why did he give you the example of this residence of upscale residential developments? Matlab, just I explained it, remember, where if you have a very high class or a high society township, right, people in that place, they maintain a distinct identity, right, by establishing their higher class and higher, higher social status, right? So what would be the answer? And what I explained orally right now, what I explained verbally, will be very clearly the answer. So Aditya and Siddharth, Prasanna, Mahima, 4 people have answered D, right? Yash, Gokul, Vaishnavi, Aniket, also Himanshu, also the answer is D. Yes, right. This is like the exact meaning of the words which we just answered. Himanshu, Divya Rathore, everybody is getting it. Right. Dr. Amarjit Chandhu also, right? Everybody got the point, I think, right? So this is easy. The first 2 questions are easy. Now, just to, tell you, how do you find these 2 questions? They are easy. They are specific detail. And this question is from CAT. So that means CAT maybe kai bar these passages do come, right? So let's see. Next question. This one is something which is about the meaning of the line, right? So this probably will be a little bit trickier than the earlier 2 questions. Let's see. So captures the meaning of the statement. What is the meaning of the statement? Topophilia is difficult to design for and impossible to quantify, right? Place it in the context. This is in that context where he tells you how in a certain, new urbanism, creators of new towns and cities, they wanted to create topophilia by using architecture. Did they succeed or did they fail? If they failed, why? So that is that part. Okay. Yes. So Vikram Rathor, Vikram, Prasanna, Aniket, 3 people have answered so far. Right. And this is also not very difficult. You can eliminate the answers which are clearly not relevant. Aniket also, Siddharth also, right, answering. Right. Vaishnavi. Okay, everybody is answering. Let's see. So everybody agrees on the answer B. So that is it. It is like if you notice, it is suddenly revealed, right? And it depends. It is not a process which is very easy that you can replicate it, right? न्यू अर्बनिज्म वालों ने कोशिश किया था इसको रिक्रिएट करने का, कर पाए? दे कुड नॉट recreate it because it is a very subject, it's a process which is suddenly revealed complex, right? And you cannot recreate it artificially. So everybody has who is answering it is saying the answer is right. The answer is B, correct. Okay, right, all got the point, I hope. Yes, all right, so the answer is B. Okay, right. There, if you notice in this option, deep anomy, do not be worried about the word which you do not know because वो answer है ही नहीं. Deep anomy of modern urbanization led to new or intricate sense of new urbanism. Intricate sense of place तो होता ही नहीं था. The sense of place is intricate, but new urbanism did not create it. Right. And what is the meaning of anomy? Anomy is the absence of norm, absence of a hierarchy, absence of a controlling rule in society because of which everything becomes chaotic, right? So that is anomy. All clear, I hope. Okay, all the other options I think are clear, right? Philosopher, architects are uniquely suited. Now architects, topophilia cannot be created artificially, right? So the best answer is given there in B. Everybody got it, I hope. Yes, let's see next question. This is understanding based question, right? So let's see what is closest in meaning to the author's understanding of topophilia. The author's understanding of topophilia meaning, what is topophilia according to the author, and which of the following situations best describes it? Let's see. Right, there are four options given, and this is a typical application question that you come across in CAT to a great extent. So that is that. Let's see. This is easy. Okay, Yash is the first to answer. What about others? Siddharth. Okay, eliminate the wrong answers. अपने आप clear हो जाएगा. So everybody is answering again B. I think so far everybody has got all the answers correct. This means the passage is easy, right? Though it is from CAT. So let's see. Okay, if you look at A, refusing to use English, this is connection for a language. That cannot be topophilia. Topophilia is love for a place, not language. Okay, so answer is B. Now, if you look at sentence C, scientists have found that most creatures, they cultivate a strong sense of topography. That means they are aware of the surroundings. It does not mean love or emotional connection. So that also can be eliminated. What about the last? Nomadic societies, right? They tend to be topophobic. तो ये तो topophilia के example है ही नहीं. This is very easy. You can do it very easily by elimination. Everybody got the point, I hope. Yes, right. Now, so just one more question left, right? And this is probably a slightly more tricky question. The four questions which we did, everybody got it correct, right? Not even a single person got the four questions wrong. That means you understood the passage. This is what I was telling you. If you understand, keeping the whole structure of the passage in mind, it becomes easier to answer. And that is what we have to replicate in the exam also. Let's try the last question now. This is slightly tricky, but if you are careful, you should be, careful. Look at what the question is asking you. Not contradicting. Not contradicting basically means something which is in line, something which is similar to the arguments in the passage. It is not contradictory, not the opposite. Okay, so Yash Sharma saying answer is B. Okay, is it B11? Prasanna saying it is B. Is it B? Okay, now everybody saying B. Okay, let's see. Right, here also, right, if you remember, the details will become very clear. Right, the tie is very little. What is the problem with A? Everybody saying answer is B. What is the problem with A? ए में क्या प्रॉब्लम है? ए क्यों नहीं? वाई इज ए कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी? एवरीबडी सेइंग आंसर इज बी। मेरा क्वेश्चन है व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम विद ए? देखो आई अग्री, न्यू अर्बनिज्म सक्सीडेड, डिड नॉट सक्सीड, so it is contradictory, so therefore it cannot be the answer, right? So I have eliminated C, right? Now okay, now A, Vikram, okay, generally speaking in a given culture the ties of the people to the environment very little in significance or intensity. That means it is like for almost everybody, the feeling, the intensity is similar. No, the intensity is different. It can affect different people in different ways. Some people may be even indifferent to it, right? So, this is something which is contradictory, because of which I've eliminated A and C. Now, what about D? What is the problem with D? It may vary greatly. Yes, correct. So, Vikram and Aniket, it varies greatly. Right, correct. What about D? What about D? The most important, even fundamental response to our environment is our tactile and olfactory response. What about D? What is the problem in D? The most important fundamental response to our environment is our tactile and olfactory response. He tells you there are three responses. One is visual, one is getting used to a place, and the other one, tactile and olfactory. Does he tell you that this is the most important one? The problem with D is, देखो, the most important ये नहीं है. It is one of the factors, but it is not the most important. Right. So you have eliminated A, eliminated C, eliminated D. So the best answer is B. ठीक है? All clear, everybody? Right. So with that we come to the end of the passage, right? And it is good that today we have done everything, in the sense that everybody who attempted got the answers correct. Slightly passage was easier, right? But I also think that you have started understanding things better. So as we go ahead, we will try, send papers also. Some papers, some of the questions, specially taken from ZAT, can be challenging. So we can do such passages also, right? Okay, right. And before we leave, let me quickly tell you about this session, right? It is on the 12th of September, that is tomorrow. It is at 12 p.m. There's a session. It's about, it's basically an aspirant outreach drive on 12th of September, 12 p.m. So be sure to attend it, and and clear all your doubts. It will basically be, it will give you important information about the whole thing, right? And let's see, you know about this already. All the classes are in one place, right? So you can actually attend it in one go. You can see it in one place, and these are some of the batches which are there, which are running, which are currently in you know in operation. You can join them, right? And these are the teachers who take your classes. You can see, most of them. And again, the online classroom program for BYJU'S Exam Prep is divided into two categories, right? I mean, one targeting 2021 and one targeting 2022, right? And there is this test, Maharashtra mock CET. Those of you who are taking it, dedicated to a particular section, logical and abstract reasoning. So this is something which you can attempt, right, to prepare. So with that, we come to the end of the session. I will see you again tomorrow. Till then, have a nice day. See you tomorrow.